All right, so I'm going to log into my controller over here. I've got an APIC here. I'm sure you guys have all seen this GUI by this time. What I want to go through here and show you is just really how quickly we can get some of those tasks accomplished. So I mentioned, you can rapidly bring up your environment, configure things, all of that fun stuff. But let's actually take this and use a tangible example of it. So last night I was up pretty late setting up a couple of Ubuntu VMs to just show like WordPress, right? And what I did was use that ARIA tool to take the application network policy that was created to allow for that WordPress application, which I deployed with the web server on one side and then MySQL database on the other one. And I guess a lot of you guys in the room here are bloggers, so you probably know WordPress, right? But I put that on my fabric and then just sort of brought it up. So what I'm going to go through here and do is a couple of quick steps that will just show you how quickly this process takes place. So if we, this is very small, but all right, we're sort of stuck between very small and very big. But in either case, what I'm going to do here first is configure APIC to communicate with vCenter. So, okay, Joe, you talked about the communication side of it. All right, so you know that APIC is able to talk to ESX. It can figure out what VMs are on each blade, do discovery through LLDP, and be able to apply policy on an interface as is necessary. So no matter where a VM moves in the fabric, you can apply policy to it, which is a very, very cool thing. So what I've done here is that I configured my APIC to work with these this ESX instance over here. And I'm going to try one thing here. Look at that. Thank you, Apple, for that wonderful feature. So you can see here that a couple of, oh man, this is not working too well. A couple of new DVSs were created. I lost my mouse too. Does anybody see my mouse? Oh, there it is. All right.
Thank you, Apple.
Yeah, seriously. Well, I'm a cat now. I don't know. All right, so we've created a couple of these VDSs, and I'm going to place VMs into these in order to enable the policy on them. So my next step over here is I'm going to do this two-step, which is going to create a tenant. Two-step. Start dancing. All right, so when I create this tenant, you see over here that a couple of distributed port groups were created on VMware. We go back into our APIC, and what my configuration looks like, you can tell that this is an actual demo because that just gave me a little error there. What you can see here is that a new tenant called Cisco was created. Under my tenant Cisco, I've got two application network profiles. One is called blog, the other one is called client. Within this, I've got a couple of EPGs. So if we head over here to the operational view, we can see what my application policy looks like. So pretty much I've got this WordPress EPG, MySQL. MySQL is going to be serving the MySQL contract, which is going to be consumed by the WordPress EPG. And then I've got SSH access into both of these, web access into this one, and I've got this default policy over here just to allow for like ARP and ICMP between these guys, because I don't want to duplicate it. And over here I've got this client policy, which is just going to access that web EPG. So now let's actually go and start placing some workloads into it. So I'm going to go to step 3, which is configure the WordPress VMMs. By the way, all the work that I've already done right there was done on APIC, and it's finished already. We've done the configuration of the fabric. The rest of the stuff I'm doing through VMware. So now I just placed a couple of these VMs into those EPGs that I created. So if I take a look over here at my client EPG, I can see here that, okay, I've got a workload present in it. I can see which hypervisor it's present on. In a moment, I'll learn its IP as soon as it starts talking. But you get a good deal of visibility. I see that it's connected to interface 101 or node 101.1.3. So you get a really good amount of information here. And again, this is all available through the API. So if I head over here into my VNC session, I can go ahead and ping my default gateway, or I should be able to. There we go. I can ping him. all good, right? Now let's say I try to ping my web server. Okay, that's working. Actually, since this guy has the SSH policy enabled, he's going to be able to ping the web server, or sorry, the database server. But if I got rid of that policy, we would no longer have access to it. So we've got access between this web client and the web EPG. And so now let's go and actually try to bring up that application that I've brought up on the fabric. So we'll bring up Firefox over here. This is running in a VM, so it's a little slow. And there we go. We've brought up this blog. Here, let me reload this to show you that it's actually bringing up. And I mean, I've got WordPress. I brought it up in the fabric in really a matter of moments, which is a really cool aspect, considering that if you wanted to do this in your network today, you're going to be spending like at least 20 minutes, let's say, if you have all the necessary approvals, all that stuff, to just get the VLANs in the right places, get your SPIs configured, all of that stuff. Whereas over here, I just used a Python script that configured all that stuff ahead of time. I gave it a configuration input that told it what SPI to use, or what bridge domain address to use, what EPGs to create, and all of that stuff was created in a very rapid fashion. So it's pretty handy being able to do that so quickly. Now, I want to be able to clean this stuff up. So, the first step is going to be to get those VMs off of those distributed virtual switches, which we configured. Okay, and pretty much the rest of the stuff is just wiping it out. So you can go through the full life cycle, clean things up, get your fabric back to a very nice and clean state, and all of this is done through the automation of APIC. If there's any questions, I'd be willing to take them now between my getting booted off stage and...
Thanks for spending the time to talk about this.
Okay, no problem.
This is a big topic. It's obviously near and dear to my heart, and I know a bunch of other people. And network engineers are going to be increasingly interested in this, so I appreciate it.
I hope so. I'll accept your pull request.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.